So welcome back to Simply Living PEI. If you haven't been here before, my name's Tammy, and we're just a couple of PEI imports, as I call myself, from Ontario, who decided to come to Prince Edward Island just for a simpler to us life. With our freezer issues going on with our upright freezer, since we have to get it all in the chest freezer, that means I'm going to have to do a job now, which I didn't intend to do together for probably another month or two. That is, you ready? It's corned beef day. So what I did is I have this big AAA certified Angus beef that actually comes from right here on Prince Edward Island. And we're gonna make corned beef. Now I haven't done corned beef. Now together we made our pea meal and I tried the corned pork, which actually tastes pretty good. But Freddie likes his corned beef, I like my corned beef. I can also thaw one out later on and we can smoke it. I finally found the book for the smoker, by the way, so I will get that put together. We have to make the corned beef. I also pulled out that second pork loin because we're gonna make some more pea meal. And that way we can, make some room. Now I know I took these out of the freezer. They're gonna go back into the freezer, but they will be in smaller pieces. They're gonna go through the food saver, which we'll do together when they're ready. And it'll take up a lot less room. Corned beef, ridiculously easy, except it's time consuming. It is pickling spice. Had to get some more because I didn't have enough. Now the recipes, most of them call for kosher salt. Right now, I couldn't find any. I mean, I know I cook with kosher salt, but I went into town way early and Bulk Barn wasn't open yet. But I do have coarse sea salt. Now, these things, by the way, they're a kilogram, 97 cents. And we need brown sugar. And we're going back to that curing salt. Now, I had someone shoot me an email, a friend of mine, when they watched the other video we made together as to why it's pink. The reason why it's pink is so you don't confuse it with regular salt. This stuff, you don't want to eat. We need to get the brine done first, and then we got to clean this massive brisket up. Okay, so what I've got is 4 liters of water. Now the recipe calls for just under 4 liters and 3 tablespoons of pickling spice. But, I forgot I already measured this. That's the original 3 tablespoons, but I actually like my corned beef with more pickling spice. I'm a little weird that way. So for the recipe, because I have a little bit of extra water, it's an extra tablespoon for the extra water and an extra tablespoon because I like it. I also did the math on this one. It is an extra half a teaspoon of the pink salts because I do have extra water. This is the one part that I actually follow a safe recipe for. I mean, don't get me wrong, most of these are. So 5 and then a half. That extra little bit of water. Okay, now the recipe I'm going to share with you has 2 different versions of sea salt. So 2 different companies, one's Morton, one's Diamond. It's actually a, Simply Recipes recipe again. But since we're using coarse sea salt, we actually are going to use the Morton's amount, but I'm going to add that little bit of extra because we have extra water. This has to come up to a boil and it needs to cool down. So while this is doing its thing, we're going to get that brisket all cleaned up. Okay, everybody. If you're not a meat kind of people, look away now. Now I've got this in a big tray today just to make it a little bit easier. But this chunk here, I mean, I might trim a little bit off, but I'm not going to get rid of all of it because that's where a lot of the flavor is later on when you do pastrami or smoked meat or something along those lines. So I'll just take a little bit off. We don't need to take a lot off. Definitely the wrong knife for doing this part. Okay, so now that I trimmed off that little bit of fat, I want to get quite a few out of here, but I don't want to make them so small that it's just not going to work well. I also don't want to dull my knife on this tray. You know, I'm going to make, I think I'm going to make a few of these. Okay, so I ended up with 6 pieces, which is perfect. Now, some of them are bigger than others, but that's okay. We're gonna put 2 in each one of these bags. Let them stay nice and cold in the refrigerator, and once that brine's ready and cooled, we're gonna brine these up, and then we're going to continue on with the Peameal. So let me get these in bags and we'll get this day running. Okay, I lied. We have 7. Well, I figure since we were getting the beef in bags ready to go, I thought we might as well do the Peameal too. Now we're gonna do only 4 Peameals, but we're gonna make them a little bit bigger this time, because the little tiny guys were a pain to slice. So, got a couple of bags ready, so we're gonna put 2 in each bag. Now the rest of this guy here, we're gonna make a little roast and a couple of pork chops, just because I only need the 4 Peameal. I could actually make one more if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. There we go. We have 2 Peameal ready for the fridge for now. Now, in case you're wondering why I didn't do both brines at the same time, is because, to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure how many pieces of pork loin we were gonna get. So now I know I can just use one of my bigger saucepans and make the brine for these, and we'd be good to go. Now these guys, I have washed my hands again. We'll just get out all the air, and these will go in the little refrigerator freezer for now. All right, so we're going to get the Peameal done. Same recipe we used before. I'll link it for you down below. And of course, even though it doesn't call for it, I do put some pickling spice in my Peameal because I like it. I'm weird that way. Okay guys, so we're just gonna make that basic Peameal brine again. Basically salt, sugar, pink salt, bay leaves, and pepper. The recipe also calls for garlic, but I don't have any. Not a big deal. I also add pickling spice because I like it. Now, the water is supposed to be a full gallon of water, so 4 liters. But I only have a half a gallon, and for the life of me, I do not know why I put the full amount of sugar or salt in there, so I'll have to add 2 liters of water to this once it actually comes to a boil. So I'll have a lot more brine than I need. Oh well, it happens. The brines are cold enough to do this. So we'll start with the pork, just because it happens to be on top. I don't want to get my hands in the bag because the hands are clean. But I've got 4 bay leaves, so I want to make sure I get 2 bay leaves in each bag. I did add some water to the brine because we had too much salt and sugar, of course. So we talked about it before. If you're gonna brine, you have to get the water out, or the air out. That way you don't have to worry about getting in there and messing around with stuff, and that way the meat always basically has brine touching it. All right, I'm gonna set these aside for a minute and then we'll get it all on the tray. There we go. So don't forget, we do have the one just single, so it happens. Because I apparently don't know how to count. That's everybody brined up, so we'll put the pea meal in here. We'll put this last single little corned beef on top of that bowl. We have the 3 double bags here on the tray. So now all of these have to brine for the same amount of time, 6 to 7 days. Seems like a lot, but don't worry about it. Every single day we're gonna go in, make sure nobody's leaking, of course. Turn them over, give them a little squishy, make sure that the meat has always got some of that brine on it. And corned beef, that brine smells phenomenal. I kind of forgot how good the corned beef brine smells. Now it's a slightly different recipe than the corned pork. So this just smells great. So alrighty, these are gonna go in the fridge and we'll check them every single day, flip them over, mess around with them. And then next week, we get to pull them out and we're gonna cook one. You know I'm gonna cook one. Okay, just time to get the pea meal and the corned beef into the food saver bags. So I'm not gonna roll these ones in cornmeal. I've decided we're just gonna leave them as they are, because if I ever get that silly smoker put together, we can smoke these and turn it into Canadian back bacon. I'm using the food saver on the stove, but mostly because if one of these bags leak while I'm messing around with them, less chance of, making a mess. So the old food saver, it was just a basic little food saver. All it did is suck the air out. This one's got a bag storage, everything. It's great. What it has is it's got a seal button. Sorry, a vac seal button, a seal button, and then there's actually a food setting for moisture. You can actually have dry or moist. These are going to be under the moist setting because of all the water and the brine that's in them. But to do it, it's really easy. So we're going to do seal first. Put it on operate and hold the button until the light goes out. So all it's doing is just putting the bottom seal on the bag. Oh, there's the heat. You can actually hear it. It'll click. And when the light goes off, you let go. Put it down to open. And look, perfectly sealed bag. Alrighty, let's pop the first one in. Now when you're ready to seal the food, it's going to be a little tight in here. That's okay. There's a little trough here that you kind of tuck the bag in. Close your lid. Put it on operate. We're going to push the moisture button. This time we're going to hit vac and seal. You ready? There's the first click. Now it's sealing. See how the red light went on? Takes a little longer though when you have this on the moist setting, because it does actually seal it more. And you know it worked, because if you pull it out, and it's vacuum sealed. Alrighty, first pea meal done. Okay, it is time for the corned beef. Oh, does that ever smell good? Some people don't like food savers because they use bags. But to be honest, they are recyclable. So you can, do your due diligence, of course. They're safer, especially if you're going to put things like this in the freezer. I mean, wrapping these up in saran wrap or tin foil, I mean, yeah, that'll work. But if you want a longer term storage, because hey, you're not gonna eat corned beef every single day, I'm gonna bet. But the longer term storage, it needs to be safe. Hence the reason why I use food savers. And there's a lot of people also that want to try and preserve and keep their food this way. I say go for it. You can get little ones quite frequently at a lot of like discount stores. Our original one came from Value Village, and if you're in Canada, you know what Value Village is. We paid, oh my gosh, I think the sticker's still on it, $3.99 or something, $7.99. But this thing still works like a champ. Now we use our food saver for vegetables, beets. We've used it for corn, cheese. When you get the really big blocks of cheese, just cut them. Of course, don't touch the cheese. It'll go fuzzy. Put it in the food saver. It'll last a long time. I do not use anything other than food saver bags because, hey, they're designed to work with the machine. But I like the thing. If you want to know more, I'll link it for you down below as well, okay? Well, that's corned beef and more Peameal done. Like I said, I did not roll the Peameal and the cornmeal this time. One, it was really messy. I got cornmeal everywhere. But two, if we do get the smoker going, I can put the Peameal in the smoker and then back bacon. Now the corned beef, we can also put that in the smoker. So basically it'll turn almost like into a Montreal smoked meat. Not quite, because of course the brine's different, but it gives you a different kind of a flavor sensation. You know what I mean? But I'm going to put number 7, so the last one, in the crock pot, and we're going to have that one for dinner. So there we go. I will link the Peameal recipe again and the corned beef recipe down below if you want to give it a shot. Now I know brisket is not easy to get. They're expensive. We know this. Now I got that brisket for, I swear, about half the price as they normally are when you can get them. We got the brisket at Sobeys. Fabulous deal. If I see it again, once we get the freezer working properly, I'll probably get more, but we'll see how fast we go through these corned beef. So the corned beef, 7 out of it. The brisket was $57. Not bad. So a corned beef now, you're looking at spending, what, $15 for a corned beef that price? Or that size? So I'd say it's fabulous value for money for us. Alrighty, time to get dinner in the crock pot. So what I did is I pulled it out of the bag. Now this is that single. So I pulled it out of the bag. I added, that's probably about a tablespoon of pickling spice. So now I'm just going to cover it with some water. And we're going to cook this probably about, I don't know, 6 hours on low. Well, the corned beef is out. Looks really good. Now this is one of the fattier ones because this is that fatter end of the brisket. So the majority of this, to be honest, is fat. And we will make Freddy's lunch with the corned beef. But yeah, to be honest, I stole a little bite. Yes, I am going to admit it. And it tastes really good. Check that out. All that fabulous pink. You can see the iridescence that I guess you call it on corned beef. All right, I'm gonna slice some of this up. We'll get Fred's lunch made, and yeah, I'll probably steal some more. In case you're wondering, yes, by the way, it's dark because it's the middle of the night. I just finished work. And I usually make Fred's lunch now, so it's in the fridge in its fresh form when he gets up in 4 hours. So that is the last of our brining adventures. I have to admit that the flavor in this corned beef is a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I am thoroughly impressed, beyond impressed. Cooking it even in the heat of the summer. So easy because I just used the crock pot, covered it in water like you normally would for any other corned beef. Added about another tablespoon or so of pickling spice. Just put it on high. I cooked it on high for 7 hours. Now the reason why is because I thought it was bigger than that. I didn't realize there was a big chunk of fat in the middle. I could have got away with probably about 4.5, 5 hours. You know, live and learn. So anyway, we were supposed to have it for dinner. Didn't work out that way. Not a big deal. We're still working on our freezer situation. So I spent the day, before work that is, I spent the day reorganizing the little chest freezer while we were waiting for the circulation fan on the upright. But anyway, guys, like I said, that's the brining adventure. Ridiculously easy. Yes, I know brisket is spendy. I do understand it. But if you have the freezer space and you've got the patience to get over there and flip those bags around every day, or put them in a big plastic container with a lid or whatever, it is totally worth it. Like seriously, totally worth it. So yeah, I'm gonna steal a little bit more of that corned beef and make a little tiny sandwich for myself, because it'll be a couple hours before I actually go to bed. Get Freddie's lunch ready and call it a day. So thanks for coming out. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to actually check out the corned pork, yeah, we did that too, go ahead and click that video right there. Alrighty, and go ahead, click that subscribe button and come along with us as we continue on our little simpler life here on PEI. Bye for now.